Late at night, Grace gets a video call from her husband Edward. He asks if he can come home, but she answers not today. Then he says that the owl is in the walls as the screen glitches. He's interrupted by an orderly reminding him to go to bed, and Edward fights him for the phone, causing the call to end. While Grace sleeps, something creepy sneaks into her room and turns down the TV volume. The noise awakens Grace and she screams when she sees a monster hanging above her. She runs away and reaches the street, where she yells for help. Sadly, the monster catches her from behind and pulls her back inside. 2 months later, Sam and his family arrive at a retirement community known as the Burrows. Manager Kaylee shows Sam his new house, which used to belong to Grace. Her husband Edward is in the manor, a special facility for residents with dementia. Every house in the Burrows has an AI device, but Sam hates it and rips it off. In fact, Sam hates the whole place. It turns out his wife chose it, but she died and the company won't let him out of the contract. When Kaylee tries to cheer Sam up, he kicks her out. His daughter Claire yells at him for his attitude and an argument ensues. Claire's husband Neil distracts them by showing them the golf cart in the garage, but Sam isn't interested. After the family leaves, Sam notices that the front doorknob is broken. The next day, Sam is woken up by a loud backfiring car. Then he goes to the community center and tries to talk to the CEO about his contract, but he's out for the day. Suddenly a song plays on the speakers that makes Sam feel dizzy. His mind is taken over by a memory of dancing with his wife Lily, but the happiness is interrupted as she passes out. When Sam snaps out of it, he's on his knees on the floor. The receptionist tries to check on him, yet Sam leaves without an appointment. Meanwhile, resident Renee tells the guards that she's been robbed again. Her bag of rose quartz is missing. Since there are no signs of a break-in, the guards don't take her seriously and only file a report, claiming that old people always forget things. The following morning, Sam is awakened by the loud car again. Since he's an engineer, he decides to go outside and fix it. When Renee tries thanking him for it, he walks away, so she follows him and scolds him for his lack of manners until he says you're welcome. In the bathroom, Sam is washing his hands when he hears a tapping noise. He goes to investigate and finds Edward tapping on the walls with a knife. Edward asks about Grace and says there's an owl in the walls, insisting that everything is wrong. When Sam tries to calm him down, Edward says he's one of them and slashes him with a knife. Sam disarms him and they start fighting while Edward keeps asking about Grace. Soon some nurses arrive and take Edward away. After a doctor takes care of Sam's wound, he meets security guard Hank, who explains there are no policemen in the Burrows because legally they aren't a town and they don't like to bother the sheriff with small stuff. Sam doesn't think being attacked is small and wants to call the sheriff anyway, but Hank stops him and tells him to talk to the CEO first. Then Sam is taken to the manor, where he meets CEO Blaine. He apologizes and says that he'll cancel the contract if Sam agrees not to call the sheriff. Then he takes him to see Edward, who also apologizes for the incident. It turns out he has Maxwell's disease, which causes the brain to wither and die. Blaine convinces Sam to give the Burrows a chance. On Friday, Sam attends a barbecue that the neighbors throw to welcome him. He feels awkward because his wife was the social one and he's more of an introvert, but he ends up having a good time. Judy tells him that Grace was always fun, yet Edward wasn't very nice. Judy's husband Art complains that society treats old people like children, and Renee says they should start a revolution. As they start chanting Grey Rebellion, Judy chokes on her food, and Sam has a vision of her as Lily passing out again. While the others rush to help Judy, a disturbed Sam leaves the party. Unfortunately, he can't enter his house because of the lack of knob, so he starts insulting and hitting the door. When Jack comes to check on him, Sam breaks down and tells him that his wife is dead. Jack tries to comfort him with some quotes from books about grief and reminds him that he's still here, so he can have a new future in the Burrows. Afterward, Sam calls Blaine and leaves a message, saying he won't call the sheriff and he's going to stay. He then unpacks a few more boxes and fixes the broken doorknob. In the middle of the night, Sam is awakened by a beeping. He follows the noise to Jack's place and knocks on the door, but nobody answers. Sam breaks the glass on the back door to break in and rushes to Jack's room, only to find a monster feeding on him. When Sam gets ready to attack with his hammer, he accidentally steps on the headphones cable and disconnects them. Music starts playing loudly, so the monster freaks out and knocks Sam down before running away. Moments later, a paramedic checks on Sam while his colleagues take Jack's body away. They claim that Jack died of heart failure, but Sam tells them a creature killed him. The paramedics don't believe him and offer to take him to the hospital. However, Sam says he's fine. Outside, Jack follows the ambulance with the body. That night, Sam dreams of a puzzle piece and Lily glitching as a claw comes out of her forehead. He's suddenly awakened by a call from Claire, so he tells her about Edward's attack. Sam checks the wall Edward was tapping and says that there's an owl there before hanging up. Meanwhile, Wally goes to see the doctor and learns that his cancer has spread to his liver. He wants to try some alternative treatments and shares a bunch of research, but the doctor insists that his case has no cure. At the fitness center, Renee learns that a lady is missing half her chess set, which was made of quartz. Moments later, Renee takes the lady and a bunch of other neighbors to see security guard Paz to inform him that they're all missing things made of quartz. Paz says he can only file a report, and since it's all worthless stuff it may get him fired. He promises to do it after Renee agrees to have dinner with him. At the manor, Sam visits Edward and asks him about the owl in the walls. However, Edward keeps rambling about his dead son because he promised they would fly a kite together. Sam folds a napkin into a kite, which snaps Edward out of it. He says he caught an owl once and locked it up, explaining that the key is in the light and the owl is in the walls. Edward repeats this so many times that a nurse drags him away. All this is seen by Blaine. In the meantime, Art leaves the burrows, claiming he has a golf game with some friends. However, he drives to an old house in an abandoned town to check on the mushrooms he's been growing. While taking care of everything, he talks to a crow he's named Brooksy, revealing that he knows Jack and Judy had an affair. He chose to ignore it because he was afraid that Judy would leave him, but after seeing her grief for Jack's death, Art wonders if she truly loved him. Moments later, Brooksy brings Art a bottle cap and keeps acting disturbed. Suddenly Art hears a terrifying roar and Brooksy starts flying around the room in panic. It crashes a few times and tries to escape through a hole in the roof, only to then drop dead. When Art looks up, he sees hundreds of birds flying away in panic. He runs outside and watches the forms they make in the sky before they all drop dead as well. At the same time, Judy goes to Jack's home since she has a copy of the keys, and takes off her wedding ring before hugging Jack's shirt on his bed. She also finds Sam's hammer, so she decides to return it to him. Judy asks Sam if he was there when Jack died and Sam assures her he died peacefully, not mentioning the monster. Afterward, Jack starts unscrewing all the lights in the house, searching for the clue Edward mentioned. He's so obsessed that he doesn't pick up a call from Claire. After hours of working, he gives up and washes his hands. This makes him realize he hasn't checked the bathroom lights. He does so now and finally finds a hidden key. The key belongs to a storage unit, so Sam drives to the storage area and finds the number that matches the key. He looks around until he sees a chest at the back of the room. After breaking the lock with a bat, he opens it and is startled by a creepy eye. However, it's just a stuffed owl. That night while watching TV, Sam is shocked to notice a strange light in the kitchen that suddenly takes over the house. At the community center, Hank gives Paz a file and tells him that he called a friend in the Albuquerque Police Department. They pulled a guy over on Thursday for driving on expired tags and he had all kinds of stuff in his trunk, including the missing quartz. They can't have it back because it's evidence now. Paz takes the file to Renee and shares Hank's story. However, he also says it's a lie because he called Albuquerque and they told him they didn't find any quartz. They agree to investigate together in secret and Paz installs a surveillance system. They chat and bond while they work. That night, a memorial is held for Jack. Renee and Wally keep talking, so an irritated Judy has to shush them. Eventually Sam arrives and tells Wally they need to talk, causing Judy to snap and yell at them. Everyone stares at her, so she decides to leave. When Sam turns around, he sees a puzzle piece like in his dream, but it goes away when he blinks. Outside, Judy bumps into Blaine's wife Annalise, who admits she comes to lots of memorials because they're the price for living in the burrows. Afterward, Judy goes home, where Art is investigating the dead birds. He tells her about the incident, but she doesn't believe him and thinks he took too many mushrooms. Then she goes to her backyard and has a breakdown. Meanwhile, Sam takes Wally to his house. Since Wally is a doctor, Sam wants him to look at the blood on the hammer, explaining that it comes from the monster that killed Jack. To prove his story, he makes Wally hide behind the couch and they both put on goggles. The drop of blood is left in front of the TV on a spoon, which starts shaking. Suddenly the blood glows and floats for a few seconds.